Welcome to my channel. Try to hear the latest story.
I stared at my phone screen in the middle of our company's bustling software development floor, watching my brother Marcus's text message glow against the blue light. "There's no room for you on this year's Christmas trip." The familiar sting hit my chest, but I typed back the same response I'd given for 15 consecutive years. Okay. Around me, keyboards clicked and coffee makers gurgled, while my coworkers discussed holiday plans with genuine excitement. An hour later during my lunch break, I scrolled through Instagram and discovered the truth that shattered what remained of my Christmas spirit photos of my entire family posing at a luxury ski lodge in Aspen, including my parents, 3 siblings, their spouses, children, and even our golden retriever Buster wearing a festive red bandana. That evening, I climbed the narrow stairs to my modest one-bedroom apartment in Portland's Southeast Division, carrying takeout Chinese food and a heavy heart filled with decades of accumulated rejection. The December rain drummed against my windows while I sat cross-legged on my secondhand couch, examining every detail of those family photos that excluded me with surgical precision. My phone buzzed with notifications as more pictures appeared. Marcus teaching his twin boys how to ski down gentle slopes. My sister Sarah sipping hot chocolate beside a roaring fireplace. And my youngest sister Emma building a snowman with her 3 daughters. Even Buster seemed to be living his best life, lounging on expensive leather furniture that probably cost more than my monthly rent. This systematic exclusion had evolved into an art form over the past 15 years, beginning subtly after I graduated college and accepted a software developer position at a Portland startup, instead of joining Marcus in expanding our grandfather's car dealership empire. While my siblings married into wealth and success, I remained single, focused on coding projects that paid $65,000 annually, but couldn't compete with their lavish lifestyles. I remembered being excluded from Sarah's wedding planning because I was supposedly too busy with work deadlines. The truth was more painful. Sarah married Dr. Jonathan Pierce, a neurosurgeon who owned a mansion in Lake Oswego, and my presence at family gatherings reminded everyone of what they considered my professional mediocrity. When her wedding day arrived, I received a last-minute invitation to the ceremony, but not the exclusive family dinner or weekend celebrations. Marcus had perfected the exclusion technique during his rise to prominence as owner of 3 successful Toyota dealerships across Oregon. His wife Catherine came from old Portland money, and their Christmas traditions involved expensive ski trips, wine country tours, and luxury resort vacations that required significant financial contributions from participants. Since I couldn't afford to split costs for $800 per night hotel suites or $1,000 ski equipment rentals, I gradually disappeared from their holiday planning discussions. Emma's transformation hurt the most because we'd been closest growing up, sharing books and inside jokes while Marcus and Sarah competed for our parents' attention. But when Emma married hedge fund manager David Thornton and moved to a gated community in Beaverton, our relationship shifted dramatically. Her Christmas parties featured catered meals, professional decorators, and guest lists that included Portland's financial elite. My presence arriving in my aging Honda Civic and wearing department store clothes apparently diminished the sophisticated atmosphere she'd carefully cultivated. My parents, Robert and Linda, had gradually aligned themselves with their financially successful children, providing babysitting services for grandchildren, attending private school events, and participating in social activities that reinforced their elevated status within Portland's suburban hierarchy. Dad's retirement from his accounting firm allowed him to golf regularly with Marcus's business associates, while Mom volunteered at the private schools, attended by her privileged grandchildren. The pattern became crystal clear when I studied the Aspen photos more carefully. Everyone wore matching ski outfits that probably cost more than my monthly grocery budget. The lodge appeared to be a private rental with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking snow-covered peaks, granite countertops, and rustic furniture that screamed expensive taste. Multiple bedrooms suggested they'd planned this vacation for months, coordinating schedules and splitting costs among the worthy family members. My laptop screen reflected my face as I opened my banking app, curious about my own financial situation after years of living modestly, while my family enjoyed their exclusive celebrations. The numbers surprised me: $28,000 in savings, accumulated through careful budgeting and avoiding expensive family obligations that would have drained my resources without providing meaningful connection or joy. I scrolled through my camera roll, searching for recent family photos that included me. The last genuine family gathering where I felt welcomed was our grandmother's 80th birthday party 3 years ago, and even then I sensed the subtle eye rolls when I couldn't contribute equally to her expensive gift from the grandchildren. My work phone rang, displaying my supervisor's number. "Kent, great job on the agricultural software prototype," my boss Amy said enthusiastically. "The client presentation went perfectly, and they're interested in expanding the project internationally. You've got 2 weeks of unused vacation time burning a hole in your schedule. Maybe take some time off over the holidays." After ending the call, I sat in my quiet apartment listening to neighbors laughing and playing music while preparing for their own holiday celebrations. The contrast between my isolation and their joy felt particularly stark, but something shifted inside my chest. Instead of the familiar self-pity that usually consumed me during Christmas season, I felt an unexpected surge of liberation. For the first time in 15 years, I wasn't scrambling to find last-minute plans after being excluded from family gatherings. I wasn't pretending to be busy when asked about my holiday schedule or manufacturing excuses for my absence from family photos. This year, I could do whatever I wanted without considering their expectations, judgments, or limitations. I opened my laptop and began researching solo travel options, feeling a flutter of excitement that had nothing to do with family approval or inclusion. My saved vacation days and accumulated funds could provide adventures I'd never considered while hoping for invitations that never came. The realization hit me like lightning. I'd been so focused on what I was missing that I'd never explored what I could gain by embracing independence and pursuing experiences designed for my own interests, rather than accommodating family preferences I didn't share. As midnight approached, I discovered a text thread notification that changed everything. Somehow my phone had received a group message clearly intended for family members only. The preview showed Marcus writing about keeping the group small this year and maintaining harmony. My finger trembled as I opened the complete conversation that revealed months of planning I'd never been included in. The messages were devastating in their casual cruelty. Sarah had suggested excluding me because I always seems uncomfortable at family gatherings anyway. Emma agreed, noting that I never really fits in with our crowd. But the most crushing blow came from my own mother, who wrote, "Maybe it's better if Kent doesn't come. He brings down the mood, and honestly, he can't contribute financially like the others." My father had responded with a thumbs-up emoji. I set my phone aside and walked to my bathroom mirror, studying the reflection of a 28-year-old man who'd spent decades trying to earn love and acceptance that was never freely offered. Tomorrow, everything would change. Saturday morning arrived with unprecedented clarity as I woke up feeling more refreshed than I'd experienced in months. The family group text revelations had paradoxically lifted a psychological weight I hadn't realized I'd been carrying for years. Their explicit rejection freed me from the exhausting cycle of hope and disappointment that characterized every holiday season. I brewed coffee in my tiny kitchen while researching international destinations that welcome solo travelers during Christmas week. The internet revealed a world of possibilities I'd never considered: adventure tours in Costa Rica, cultural experiences in Thailand, safari expeditions in Kenya, and luxury resorts specifically designed for independent travelers seeking relaxation and personal growth. My phone buzzed with additional family photos from their Aspen adventure, showing elaborate breakfast spreads and planning discussions for their day's skiing activities. Instead of pain, I felt detached curiosity about their need to document every moment of their exclusive vacation. They seemed to be performing happiness rather than simply experiencing it. I called my bank to discuss international travel requirements and discovered my savings could comfortably afford a luxury vacation that exceeded anything my family typically planned. Years of modest living cooking at home and avoiding expensive social obligations had accumulated into genuine financial freedom I'd never fully appreciated. Costa Rica emerged as my top choice after hours of research. The country offered adventure activities like ziplining through cloud forests, volcano hiking, wildlife photography opportunities, and world-class surfing lessons. More importantly, the culture emphasized warmth, inclusion, and environmental consciousness that appealed to my personal values rather than materialistic status seeking that dominated my family's priorities. I found an all-inclusive eco-lodge called Vista Pacifica, nestled in the mountains of Guanacaste province, featuring sustainable architecture, organic gardens, and panoramic views of volcanic peaks. The premium suite package included daily adventure tours, gourmet meals, prepared with local ingredients, spa services, and access to private beaches where I could practice photography and meditation without social pressures or family drama. The booking process felt surreal as I confirmed a 7-day vacation costing more than my typical yearly entertainment budget, but still representing a fraction of my accumulated savings. The reservation included airport transfers, professional guides for hiking and wildlife tours, deep-sea fishing excursions, and cultural experiences with local families who welcomed visitors into their homes for traditional meals and celebrations. I spent the afternoon purchasing proper adventure gear, waterproof hiking boots, quick-dry clothing suitable for tropical climates, professional quality camera equipment for documenting wildlife and landscapes, and a durable backpack designed for international travel. Each purchase felt like an investment in personal growth rather than material accumulation. Sunday brought a transformation in my apartment as I researched Costa Rican culture, downloaded language learning apps to practice basic Spanish phrases, and created detailed itineraries for maximizing my solo adventure. I studied local customs, tipping practices, safety considerations, and opportunities for environmental conservation activities that aligned with my interests in sustainable technology. The most significant change occurred in my relationship with work, as I approached Monday morning with renewed enthusiasm for my software development projects. Amy noticed my improved mood immediately when I requested extended vacation time and received enthusiastic approval based on my exemplary performance and accumulated overtime hours. "You seem different today," my coworker Brandon observed during our lunch break. "More confident or something?" I shared general details about my upcoming Costa Rica trip without mentioning the family drama that prompted my decision. Brandon's enthusiasm was infectious, as he described his own solo travel experiences in Southeast Asia, encouraging my adventure while offering practical tips for international photography and cultural immersion. The week progressed with increasing excitement as I finalized travel preparations and began mentally disconnecting from family dynamics that had dominated my emotional landscape for decades. I stopped checking their social media posts and ignored additional group text messages that continued documenting their Aspen activities. Wednesday brought an unexpected discovery when I researched Costa Rican adventure tour companies and found a website for Aventuras Naturales, an ecotourism business operated by someone named Jake Morrison. The founder's biography included a photo that made my heart race. My college roommate Jake, who'd majored in computer science alongside me at Portland State University before disappearing from social media 3 years ago. I remembered Jake as an adventurous spirit who constantly talked about escaping corporate life to pursue outdoor activities and environmental conservation. During our junior year, he'd expressed fascination with Costa Rican biodiversity and sustainable tourism practices, but I'd assumed his dreams would fade after graduation, like most college fantasies about alternative lifestyles. The website showcased incredible photos of Jake leading small groups through pristine forests, teaching rappelling techniques beside thundering waterfalls, and sharing meals with local families who partnered with his business to provide authentic cultural experiences. His transformation from pale computer science student to confident outdoor guide seemed almost impossible to believe. I sent a tentative email through his business contact form identifying myself as his former college roommate and expressing interest in his adventure tour packages during my upcoming Costa Rica vacation. Within 2 hours, Jake responded personally with enthusiasm that jumped off the screen. "Kent, I can't believe you're coming to Costa Rica," his email began. "This is incredible timing because I just launched a new program for solo travelers interested in combining adventure activities with technology applications for environmental conservation. You'd be perfect for our pilot program, and I'd love to catch up in person. Let me upgrade your accommodations and customize your itinerary for maximum awesome." Thursday and Friday blurred together as Jake and I exchanged multiple emails coordinating my arrival and discussing his business evolution from computer programming to ecotourism entrepreneurship. He explained how he'd used his technology background to develop innovative booking systems, environmental monitoring applications, and sustainable business practices that supported local communities while providing extraordinary experiences for adventure-seeking travelers. The correspondence revealed Jake's remarkable transformation from our quiet, introverted college years to confident leadership in Costa Rica's competitive tourism industry. He'd learned fluent Spanish, earned certifications in wilderness guiding and first aid, and established partnerships with indigenous communities, environmental scientists, and conservation organizations throughout Central America. "You're going to love Maria," Jake wrote in his final planning email. "She's an environmental scientist from UC Berkeley who studies volcano ecosystem restoration, and she's joining our group for the wildlife photography tour. Plus, I've got a surprise connection that might interest you professionally, but I'll save that for when you arrive." Friday evening, I packed my new adventure gear while feeling nervous excitement about my first major international solo trip. My family's Aspen vacation would conclude Sunday, but I'd be boarding my flight to San Jose Saturday morning, beginning an adventure designed specifically for my interests rather than accommodating their preferences or limitations. The final family text arrived as I was setting my alarm for an early departure to Portland International Airport. Marcus had sent photos of their farewell dinner at an expensive restaurant with everyone raising champagne glasses in a toast that once again didn't include me. For the first time in 15 years, I didn't feel hurt by their exclusion. Instead, I felt grateful for the freedom to pursue experiences that would challenge, inspire, and fulfill me in ways their superficial gatherings never could. Saturday morning arrived with Pacific Northwest drizzle that made my departure from Portland feel symbolic as I loaded my adventure gear into an airport shuttle, leaving behind years of family disappointment for tropical possibilities I'd never imagined pursuing alone. The 3-hour flight to San Jose passed quickly as I studied my photography equipment and reviewed Spanish phrases that would help me connect with local communities during my 7-day adventure. Juan Santa Maria International Airport buzzed with international travelers speaking multiple languages, while tropical heat immediately replaced Oregon's December chill. I scanned the arrival area nervously, wondering if I'd recognize Jake after 3 years of transformation from computer programmer to outdoor adventure guide. Kent, a deeply tanned, confident man, approached wearing khaki adventure gear and sporting a broad smile that belonged to my former roommate despite his dramatically changed appearance. Jake's handshake was firm and calloused from outdoor work. His posture reflected physical confidence I'd never seen during our college years, and his Spanish conversation with airport staff flowed naturally as he arranged our transportation. The drive to Guanacaste province took us through diverse landscapes that shifted from urban development to rolling agricultural hills, dotted with coffee plantations and cattle ranches. Jake drove a rugged Toyota Land Cruiser while sharing stories about his journey from Portland cubicle worker to Costa Rican entrepreneur, explaining how technology skills had proven invaluable for building sustainable tourism businesses in developing countries. I spent 2 years working corporate software jobs after graduation, Jake explained while navigating winding mountain roads. Decent money, good benefits, but I felt completely dead inside. One day I realized I had enough savings to take a risk, so I bought a one-way ticket to Costa Rica with no return plans. Best decision I ever made. Vista Pacifica Eco Lodge exceeded every expectation I'd formed, from website photos featuring open-air architecture that blended seamlessly with surrounding forest canopy, while offering luxury amenities that rivaled five-star hotels. My premium suite included a private terrace with panoramic views of Rincón de la Vieja volcano comfortable furnishings, crafted from local sustainable materials, and bathroom facilities that incorporated natural stone and tropical plants. The infinity pool overlooked Pacific Ocean coastline, visible in the distance, while organic gardens provided fresh ingredients for the resort's restaurant that specialized in farm-to-table cuisine, prepared by local chefs who transformed traditional Costa Rican dishes into gourmet experiences. Howler monkeys called from nearby trees as colorful birds I couldn't identify, flitted between flowering plants that perfumed the air with exotic fragrances. "This is incredible," I told Jake as we settled into comfortable chairs on my suite's terrace with cold imperial beers and fresh ceviche prepared by the resort's chef. I never imagined vacation could feel this peaceful and exciting simultaneously. Jake smiled with satisfaction that reflected pride in his business success and genuine happiness for my solo adventure. Wait until tomorrow's ziplining expedition. We're starting in Monteverde Cloud Forest, which has canopy tours at heights that will challenge anyone afraid of elevation. The guides are world-class professionals who've never had safety incidents, but the experience will push your comfort zone in ways that build genuine confidence. Sunday morning began with sunrise coffee on my terrace while watching the volcano's silhouette emerge through dissipating clouds. The organic breakfast featured fresh tropical fruits I'd never tasted, locally grown coffee that surpassed any Portland roastery, and homemade pastries that complemented rather than overwhelmed the natural flavors of Costa Rican cuisine. The drive to Monteverde Cloud Forest Reserve took us through increasingly mountainous terrain where coffee plantations gave way to pristine forests, protected by environmental conservation efforts that began decades ago. Jake explained how local communities had transformed from cattle ranching to ecotourism, creating sustainable income sources that incentivized forest preservation rather than destruction. The zipline course we're using today covers 2 miles of cloud forest canopy at heights ranging from 50 to 300 feet above the ground, Jake explained as we approached the adventure base camp. You'll wear professional harness systems with multiple safety connections, but the psychological challenge comes from trusting equipment while soaring through treetops at speeds up to 40 miles per hour. My fear of heights had prevented me from attempting similar activities during previous vacations, but something about Jake's confidence and the professional safety protocols encouraged me to embrace challenges I'd previously avoided. The guide team included 3 bilingual experts who conducted thorough safety briefings, equipment checks, and practice sessions that gradually built my confidence for increasingly dramatic zip lines. The first platform stood 60 feet above the forest floor, offering views of cloud forest canopy that stretched toward distant mountain peaks, while exotic birds called from branches invisible beneath the green ceiling. My heart pounded as I clipped into the zipline system, but the guide's calm professionalism and Jake's encouragement helped me overcome paralyzing fear to step off the platform into empty space. The sensation of flying through cloud forest canopy at breathtaking speed exceeded every expectation I'd formed about adventure activities. Wind rushed past my face while tree branches blurred beneath my feet, and the landing platform appeared ahead like a welcoming destination rather than a terrifying target. The guides cheered my successful completion, while Jake captured photos of my triumphant smile that reflected genuine accomplishment rather than forced happiness. Each subsequent zip line challenged me with increased distance height and speed, while building confidence that extended beyond physical adventure to emotional resilience I'd never experienced. The final zip line spanned nearly half a mile at heights, exceeding 200 feet, requiring trust in equipment guides and personal courage that had nothing to do with family approval or social expectations. "You're a natural," commented Carlos, our lead guide, as we completed the final platform. "Most people need multiple visits to attempt the advanced lines, but you conquered fears like someone discovering inner strength they didn't know existed." The afternoon cultural experience brought us to a traditional Costa Rican family's home, where 3 generations welcomed us for authentic Gallo Pinto handmade tortillas and coffee grown on their own plantation. Grandmother Elena shared stories about Costa Rican history while her daughter Maria prepared traditional meals using recipes passed down through generations of family cooks. The warmth and inclusion offered by complete strangers contrasted sharply with conditional acceptance I'd experienced within my own family. Elena treated me like a welcomed grandson, ensuring my plate stayed full while asking genuine questions about my life work and interests without judgment or comparison to other family members' achievements. Young Eduardo, Elena's grandson, who'd recently graduated from Stanford University with a computer science degree, recognized my Portland company when I mentioned my software development work. His eyes lit up with enthusiasm as he described his startup focused on sustainable agriculture technology and his admiration for innovative applications developed by my employer's agricultural division. "I've been following your company's work on crop monitoring systems and weather prediction software," Eduardo explained during our after-dinner coffee on the family's covered porch. "The applications you're developing could revolutionize farming practices throughout Central America, but we need solutions adapted specifically for local conditions, climate patterns, and economic constraints that affect small-scale agricultural operations." The conversation evolved into detailed discussions about technology applications for agricultural challenges I'd never considered from practical perspectives. Eduardo's passion for sustainable farming, combined with sophisticated understanding of software development, created intellectual stimulation I rarely experienced in professional or family contexts. As evening settled over the mountains, Jake and I returned to Vista Pacifica, with my mind buzzing from physical adventure and meaningful cultural connections that exceeded any vacation experience I'd previously enjoyed. The resort's restaurant featured live music from local musicians, while guests from various countries shared stories about their Costa Rican adventures. "Tomorrow we're hiking Arenal Volcano with Maria, the environmental scientist I mentioned," Jake said as we planned the next day's activities. "She's studying ecosystem restoration on volcano slopes, and her research combines with adventure hiking that will challenge your physical limits while providing incredible photography opportunities." I checked my phone for the first time since arriving in Costa Rica and discovered multiple missed calls from family members who'd apparently returned from their Aspen vacation. Their voicemails ranged from curious to concerned to demanding, but I felt no urgency to respond while sitting beside an infinity pool under stars more brilliant than any I'd seen from Portland's light-polluted skies. The realization struck me powerfully. I hadn't thought about my family's exclusion or approval for an entire day, focused instead on personal challenges, meaningful connections, and experiences that reflected my interests rather than obligations to accommodate other people's expectations or limitations. Monday morning's volcano hike began before sunrise as Jake, Maria, and I loaded day packs with photography equipment, water bottles, and energy snacks for the challenging 8-mile trek up Arenal Volcano's dormant slopes. Maria Chen proved to be a fascinating companion, whose environmental science background from UC Berkeley combined with infectious enthusiasm for Costa Rican biodiversity conservation efforts. Arenal's 1968 eruption destroyed several villages, but the ecological recovery process has created unique opportunities for studying how plant and animal communities re-establish themselves in volcanic soil environments, Maria explained as we began our ascent through misty forest trails. "My research focuses on identifying native species that accelerate soil restoration while providing sustainable economic opportunities for local communities through ecotourism and sustainable agriculture. The hiking trail challenged my fitness level as we climbed steep terrain through multiple ecosystem zones that shifted from tropical dry forest to cloud forest conditions, approaching the volcano's upper elevations. Maria pointed out rare bird species medicinal plants used by indigenous communities and geological features that revealed the area's volcanic history, while Jake ensured our safety and captured professional quality photos of wildlife encounters. Our conversation during rest breaks revealed shared interests in technology applications for environmental conservation that went far beyond my previous understanding of agricultural software development. Maria described her collaboration with local farmers who needed sophisticated tools for monitoring soil conditions, predicting weather patterns, and optimizing crop rotation schedules that balanced productivity with environmental sustainability. Eduardo mentioned your agricultural software expertise during our dinner conversation, Maria said as we paused beside a cascading waterfall fed by volcanic springs. His startup has received preliminary funding from Stanford's Environmental Technology Incubator, but they need partnerships with experienced developers who understand both software architecture and practical agricultural applications. The business opportunity crystallized during our lunch break at a scenic overlook, where we could observe vast agricultural valleys stretching toward the Pacific Ocean. Eduardo had identified significant market gaps in Central American agricultural technology, but existing solutions were designed for large-scale American farming operations rather than small-scale sustainable agriculture, practiced throughout Costa Rica and neighboring countries. Traditional farming families in this region have been using sustainable practices for generations, but they lack modern tools for optimizing productivity while maintaining environmental stewardship, Maria continued. Software solutions adapted for local conditions could increase crop yields by 20 to 30%, while reducing water consumption and pesticide dependency. My mind raced with possibilities as I considered how my software development skills could create meaningful solutions for agricultural challenges while potentially launching an independent consulting business that aligned with personal values rather than corporate profit maximization. The international travel component appealed to my newfound appreciation for adventure and cultural immersion that made routine Portland office work seem increasingly limiting. The afternoon portion of our hike included therapeutic hot springs heated by geothermal activity that provided natural spa experiences in pristine forest settings. Soaking in mineral-rich pools while surrounded by tropical vegetation and exotic bird calls created relaxation I'd never achieved through expensive spa treatments or family vacation amenities. Have you ever considered relocating internationally? Jake asked as we enjoyed the natural hot springs. Costa Rica offers residency programs for entrepreneurs and investors who establish businesses that benefit local communities. The cost of living is significantly lower than Portland, and the lifestyle emphasizes work-life balance, environmental consciousness, and social connections that prioritize personal fulfillment over material accumulation. The idea of international relocation had never seriously occurred to me during years of hoping for family acceptance and maintaining familiar routines that kept me geographically close to disapproving relatives. But Costa Rica's combination of adventure opportunities, meaningful work possibilities, and welcoming communities offered alternatives to traditional American lifestyle expectations that had never brought satisfaction, despite years of effort. Evening brought us back to Vista Pacifica, where I spent an hour uploading selected photos to social media, choosing images that captured adventure highlights without revealing specific location details that might attract unwanted family attention. The ziplining photos showed genuine excitement and accomplishment, while volcano hiking images demonstrated physical challenges I'd successfully conquered during my solo adventure. My LinkedIn profile received multiple connection requests from agricultural technology professionals who'd noticed my Costa Rica posts and wanted to discuss potential collaboration opportunities. The international attention surprised me, suggesting that my software development expertise, combined with agricultural technology focus, created professional value I'd underestimated while working within my current company's limited scope. Eduardo wants to schedule a formal business discussion tomorrow. Jake mentioned during dinner at the resort's restaurant that featured locally caught fish prepared with tropical fruit salsas and organic vegetables from nearby farms. He's particularly interested in your experience with cloud-based agricultural monitoring systems and weather prediction algorithms that could be adapted for Central American farming conditions. The evening concluded with live music from local musicians who invited resort guests to participate in traditional folk dances that emphasized community participation rather than performance perfection. I found myself laughing and attempting dance steps I'd never tried while connecting with travelers from multiple countries who shared stories about their own solo adventures and international experiences. Tuesday morning's deep-sea fishing expedition provided additional opportunities for personal challenge and cultural immersion as Captain Rodriguez, a third-generation fisherman from nearby Tamarindo, taught me traditional fishing techniques while sharing stories about sustainable fishing practices that balanced economic needs with marine conservation efforts. Fishing in Costa Rican waters teaches patience, respect for nature, and appreciation for simple pleasures that cannot be purchased with money, Captain Rodriguez explained as we waited for fish to bite our lines. The ocean provides what we need when we approach with proper preparation, realistic expectations, and willingness to adapt our plans based on conditions beyond our control. The philosophical wisdom resonated deeply as I reflected on years spent trying to control family dynamics and force acceptance that was never freely offered. Costa Rica's emphasis on adaptability, gratitude, and present moment awareness provided alternative approaches to happiness that didn't depend on other people's approval or inclusion in exclusive social groups. We successfully caught several large fish that would become our lunch prepared by Captain Rodriguez using traditional cooking methods over a beach fire. While we discussed differences between Costa Rican and American cultural values, the conversation revealed how my family's emphasis on material success, social status, and competitive achievement contrasted sharply with Costa Rican priorities of family inclusion, community support, and environmental stewardship. In Costa Rica, we have a saying, pura vida, which means pure life, Captain Rodriguez explained. It represents living authentically, appreciating simple pleasures and treating others with kindness regardless of their economic status or social position. Family means everyone belongs, and success means contributing to community well-being rather than accumulating possessions that separate us from others. The afternoon business meeting with Eduardo took place at his family's coffee plantation, where 3 generations of sustainable farming practices had created economic stability while maintaining environmental conservation. His startup proposal included developing agricultural software specifically designed for small-scale Central American farmers who needed affordable, user-friendly tools for optimizing crop production while preserving soil health and water resources. My vision involves creating a technology platform that connects traditional farming wisdom with modern data analysis capabilities, Eduardo explained while showing me through his family's sustainable coffee operation. Farmers throughout Central America possess generations of agricultural knowledge, but they lack tools for documenting, analyzing, and optimizing their practices using scientific methods that could increase productivity while maintaining environmental sustainability. The partnership opportunity included equity participation in a startup that had already received preliminary funding from multiple sources, including Stanford University's Environmental Technology Incubator, Costa Rican government agricultural development programs, and private investors interested in sustainable technology solutions for developing countries. My phone buzzed with notifications that I'd been ignoring since arriving in Costa Rica, but one email caught my attention with urgent priority flags. My Portland supervisor had forwarded a message from agricultural technology executives who'd apparently discovered my LinkedIn activity and wanted to schedule immediate meetings upon my return to discuss international expansion opportunities for our software solutions. Tuesday evening brought the moment I'd been unconsciously anticipating and dreading since my arrival in Costa Rica. After posting a single carefully selected photo of myself ziplining through cloud forest canopy with the simple caption, "Merry Christmas from Paradise," my phone exploded with notifications like a social media volcano erupting with family panic and confusion. The image showed me grinning broadly while suspended hundreds of feet above pristine forest canopy, wearing professional adventure gear and appearing more confident and genuinely happy than any recent family photo had captured. Within minutes of posting, my phone buzzed incessantly with calls, texts, and social media comments from family members who'd apparently spent their entire Aspen vacation expecting me to sit home alone during Christmas week. My mother, Linda, called 17 times within the first hour, leaving increasingly frantic voicemails that escalated from confused inquiry to outright panic. "Kent, where are you? What is this photo? How did you afford this vacation? Call me immediately. Your father is worried sick about your safety and your decision-making. This is completely irresponsible behavior, and we need to discuss your choices right away." The family group text that had previously excluded me suddenly included my number, flooding my phone with angry messages that revealed their collective shock at discovering my independence and financial capability. Marcus led the charge with accusations that reflected his controlling personality. "What the hell, Kent? How did you afford Costa Rica? Are you using credit cards irresponsibly?" This showing off behavior is completely unlike you, and frankly, it's concerning for everyone who cares about your well-being. Sarah's messages focused on perceived betrayal and family loyalty. "I cannot believe you planned an expensive vacation without telling anyone. What if something happened to you? What if there was a family emergency and we couldn't reach you?" This selfish behavior is disappointing and hurtful to everyone who loves you. Emma's texts revealed her confusion about my financial situation and sudden transformation. "Kent, this is totally out of character for you. How did you suddenly become someone who takes luxury vacations? Are you having some kind of midlife crisis?" This rebellion phase is weird and uncomfortable for the entire family. My father Robert's contribution was characteristically brief, but loaded with implied criticism. "Son, this behavior doesn't reflect the values we raised you with. Family comes first, and taking expensive trips without considering your responsibilities to relatives who care about you shows poor judgment and selfishness." The irony wasn't lost on me that these same people had deliberately excluded me from their expensive Aspen vacation, while simultaneously criticizing my independent travel plans and questioning my financial responsibility. Their assumption that I couldn't afford quality experiences revealed how completely they'd underestimated my capabilities and savings accumulated through years of modest living. Jake found me sitting on my suite's terrace staring at my phone while waves of family guilt crashed against newfound confidence like conflicting tide patterns. "Everything okay?" he asked with concern that reflected genuine friendship rather than manipulative worry disguised as care. I shared the family drama unfolding through my phone while Jake listened with expressions ranging from disbelief to amusement to supportive indignation. "So, they excluded you from their family vacation, and now they're angry that you planned your own vacation? That's some impressive mental gymnastics they're performing." The calls continued throughout the evening as various family members attempted different emotional manipulation strategies. My Aunt Helen, Marcus's mother-in-law, left a voicemail claiming I was causing unnecessary family stress during the holiday season. My cousin Patrick texted asking if I was going through financial troubles that would explain my sudden, extravagant spending patterns. Most concerning was the escalation in their efforts to locate and contact me through any available means. Sarah had apparently called my Portland apartment building manager claiming a family emergency, and demanding confirmation that I was traveling internationally. Emma contacted my workplace, speaking with reception staff about my vacation schedule and emergency contact procedures. The invasion of my privacy revealed their collective need to control information about my activities and maintain their narrative about my limitations and dependence. Their panic seemed disproportionate to a simple vacation photo, suggesting deeper fears about losing power over family dynamics they'd carefully constructed to maintain their elevated status. Wednesday morning brought Christmas Day messages that combined holiday greetings with continued demands for explanations and immediate contact. My mother's Christmas voicemail was particularly manipulative. "Merry Christmas, Kent. I hope you're enjoying your vacation, but your father and I are heartbroken that you chose to spend Christmas away from family without discussing your plans. We love you, but this behavior is concerning, and we need to have serious conversations when you return home." The group family text included multiple photos from their Christmas morning gift exchange, showing expensive presents, elaborate decorations, and multi-generational celebrations that had proceeded perfectly without my presence. The images were clearly intended to demonstrate what I was missing by choosing independent adventure over family obligation. Jake suggested we take a break from my phone drama to explore Manuel Antonio National Park, where pristine beaches met protected rainforest habitat that supported incredible wildlife diversity. The day's activities included hiking forest trails, where we observed 3 species of monkeys, exotic birds, and slow-moving sloths hanging from tree branches like nature's meditation masters. Your family's reaction says more about their control issues than your choices, Maria observed during our beachside lunch of fresh seafood and tropical fruits. Healthy families celebrate individual growth and independence rather than punishing autonomy with guilt and criticism. The beach provided peaceful reflection time as I watched waves crash against volcanic rock formations, while considering responses to family pressure that balanced honesty with boundaries I'd never previously established. Their collective panic revealed underlying fears about losing influence over my decisions and maintaining family hierarchy that positioned me as the disappointing younger brother who required guidance and oversight. My phone continued buzzing with messages throughout our beach activities, but I made conscious decisions to prioritize present moment experiences over family crisis management that wasn't actually my responsibility. The contrast between Costa Rican emphasis on pura vida and my family's drama-focused communication styles became increasingly apparent. Thursday brought an unexpected escalation when my youngest niece, Ashley Marcus's 12-year-old daughter, sent private Instagram messages expressing excitement about my adventure photos and disappointment about family dynamics she was old enough to recognize as unfair. "Uncle Kent, your vacation looks amazing. I don't understand why everyone is so upset. You always get left out of family trips, and now they're mad that you went on your own? That doesn't make sense. I miss you and wish you could teach me about photography when you get back." Ashley's message revealed that the family's exclusionary patterns were visible even to children who lacked political motivations for maintaining adult hierarchies. Her innocent observation highlighted the hypocrisy of adults who criticized my independence, while systematically excluding me from their planning and activities. The emotional manipulation reached peak intensity when my mother called claiming my father was having chest pains due to worry about your reckless behavior. She demanded my immediate return home for a family meeting to discuss my concerning choices and selfish attitude that was supposedly tearing the family apart during Christmas season. "Linda Robert is fine," Jake commented after I shared the latest guilt trip attempt. "If he was having legitimate medical emergency, they'd be calling ambulances, and doctors not demanding you abandon your vacation for family drama meetings. This is classic manipulation designed to regain control over your independence." Thursday evening brought the discovery that changed everything about my understanding of family dynamics and financial relationships that had shaped decades of exclusion and criticism. Ashley sent another private message that included screenshots from family group texts she'd accidentally been added to during technical difficulties with her new phone. The images showed conversations between my parents and siblings discussing financial arrangements for their Aspen vacation, including references to using grandmother's inheritance money and managing estate funds for family activities. My hands trembled as I read evidence that my family had been using inheritance money that belonged equally to all 4 siblings to fund exclusive vacations I was never invited to join. Marcus, as a state executor, had apparently been managing our deceased grandmother's inheritance in ways that benefited him personally, while excluding me from both the planning and the financial benefits. "This is inheritance theft," Maria said bluntly after reviewing Ashley's screenshots. "If your grandmother's estate was supposed to be divided equally among siblings, but Marcus has been using your portion to fund family activities you're excluded from, that's fraud and breach of fiduciary duty." The financial betrayal explained years of guilt about my inability to contribute equally to expensive family activities. While I'd been saving money through modest living, my siblings had been funding their lavish lifestyles, partially through inheritance money that legally belonged to me. Their criticism of my financial irresponsibility became grotesquely hypocritical when viewed through the lens of their systematic theft. Jake helped me research estate law and fiduciary responsibilities, while I documented Ashley's evidence and began calculating potential financial damages from years of excluded inheritance benefits. The legal implications were serious enough to require professional consultation, but the emotional revelation was even more significant for understanding family dynamics that had shaped my self-perception for decades. Thursday night, I made the decision to confront my family directly through video conference call, armed with evidence of their inheritance mismanagement, and prepared to establish firm boundaries about future relationships that would operate on equal terms or not at all. Friday morning arrived with crystalline clarity as I prepared for the most important conversation of my adult life. The Pacific Ocean sparkled beyond my suite's terrace, while I organized Ashley's screenshot, evidence-researched estate law requirements, and mentally rehearsed points I needed to communicate during the family video conference I'd scheduled for noon Costa Rica time. Jake and Maria provided moral support while respecting my need for privacy during what promised to be an emotionally charged confrontation with decades of accumulated family dysfunction. Their presence in the resort's business center gave me confidence that genuine friendships existed outside my family's manipulative dynamics. At precisely noon, I initiated the group video call using the resort's high-speed internet, while positioned strategically to showcase the Pacific Ocean view behind me. The visual contrast was immediately apparent. I appeared relaxed and confident, in tropical paradise. While my family members gathered around Marcus's dining room table looking defensive and uncomfortable. Before anyone speaks, I began calmly, "I want to address the inheritance situation that Ashley accidentally discovered through your group text messages." The silence that followed was deafening as shocked expressions appeared on every face displayed on my laptop screen. Marcus attempted immediate damage control. "Kent, there seems to be some misunderstanding about estate management procedures that require explanation and context you might not fully understand without legal background." "I understand perfectly," I replied, maintaining steady eye contact with the camera. "Grandmother's will specified equal distribution among 4 grandchildren. As a state executor, you've been using my portion to fund family vacations. I'm systematically excluded, from which constitutes breach of fiduciary duty and inheritance theft." My mother tried emotional manipulation. "Kent, we're family, and families share resources to create wonderful memories together. The important thing is maintaining our family bonds, not arguing over money that belongs to all of us." "Linda, the money doesn't belong to all of us," I corrected with calm precision. "It belongs to me individually, and Marcus has been stealing my inheritance, while excluding me from the benefits he's purchasing with my money. That's fraud regardless of family relationships. Sarah shifted uncomfortably before attempting deflection. This conversation is getting way too hostile and legalistic for Christmas week. Can't we focus on healing family relationships instead of attacking each other over financial technicalities? There's nothing technical about theft, I responded directly. You've been criticizing my financial responsibility while literally stealing money that legally belongs to me. The hypocrisy is remarkable, even by our family's standards. Emma tried a different approach. Kent, you're clearly upset about being excluded from trips, but taking expensive vacations and hiring lawyers isn't the solution to family communication problems. We can work together to include you more in future planning. Emma, I don't want inclusion in activities funded by my stolen inheritance. I replied with growing confidence. I want complete transparency about estate finances, an equal distribution of remaining funds, followed by independent relationships based on mutual respect rather than financial manipulation. The conversation revealed my family's complete inability to acknowledge wrongdoing or accept accountability for their systematic exclusion and financial exploitation. Their responses cycled through denial deflection, emotional manipulation, and attempts to reframe theft as family resource sharing. My father finally spoke with his characteristic authoritarian tone. Son, this adversarial attitude toward family members who love you is concerning and disappointing. We raised you with better values than this confrontational behavior and threats of legal action against relatives. Robert, you raised me to accept exclusion, criticism, and theft because questioning family authority was discouraged through guilt and manipulation. I responded with clarity that surprised even myself. Those aren't values worth maintaining, and I'm finished accepting treatment that would be unacceptable from strangers. The psychological dynamics shifted dramatically as my family realized their usual manipulation strategies weren't working against someone who'd gained independence and confidence through experiences outside their influence. My physical separation in Costa Rica, combined with evidence of their financial misconduct, eliminated their ability to control the conversation through emotional pressure. Marcus made one final attempt at maintaining his authority. Kent, you're obviously having some kind of breakdown or midlife crisis that's affecting your judgment about family relationships and financial matters. Maybe you should speak with a therapist about these feelings of persecution and entitlement that seem to be driving your behavior. Marcus, I spoke with an estate attorney yesterday who confirmed that your management practices constitute inheritance theft and breach of fiduciary duty. I replied calmly. You have 30 days to provide complete estate documentation and equal fund distribution, or I'll pursue legal remedies for financial damages and criminal charges for fraud. The silence that followed was broken by my phone buzzing with a notification that would change everything about this confrontation. Eduardo's startup had received approval for a significant venture capital investment, and they were formally offering me a partnership position with equity stakes, international travel opportunities, and the option to relocate to Costa Rica permanently. Actually, there's something else I need to share. I continued with a smile that reflected genuine excitement rather than family-related stress. The agricultural technology startup I've been consulting with just received major funding, and they've offered me a partnership position that would allow me to relocate to Costa Rica permanently while building international software solutions for sustainable agriculture. The announcement hit my family like an emotional tsunami. Their assumption that my Costa Rica vacation represented temporary rebellion against family authority crumbled when faced with evidence of permanent life changes that would remove me entirely from their influence and geographical proximity. Sarah spoke first. Kent, you cannot be serious about moving to another country because of temporary hurt feelings about family dynamics. That's an extreme overreaction that would damage relationships permanently. Sarah, these aren't temporary hurt feelings, I replied with satisfaction. This is permanent recognition that I deserve relationships based on mutual respect and inclusion, rather than conditional acceptance, dependent on my willingness to accept financial theft and social exclusion. Emma began crying, which had previously been an effective manipulation strategy. Kent, you're talking about destroying our family over misunderstandings that could be resolved through better communication. Please don't make irreversible decisions while you're emotional and far from home. Emma, I've never felt less emotional or more at home than I do right now, I responded honestly. Costa Rica offers opportunities for meaningful work, authentic relationships, and personal growth that I've never experienced during decades of trying to earn acceptance from relatives who view me as a disappointment and financial resource. My mother made one final desperate attempt. Kent, if you move to Costa Rica, you'll miss watching your nieces and nephews grow up, and you'll regret destroying family relationships over temporary conflicts that could be resolved with patience and forgiveness. Linda, I've been missing family experiences for 15 years because you deliberately exclude me while using my inheritance money to fund activities I'm not invited to join, I concluded. The only thing I'll regret is waiting this long to prioritize my own happiness and financial security over your approval and inclusion. The video call ended with my family staring in shocked silence as I closed my laptop and walked onto my suite's terrace, where Jake and Maria were waiting with champagne to celebrate my successful boundary setting and Eduardo's partnership offer. How do you feel? Maria asked as we toasted my confrontation success and potential life transformation. Free, I replied with profound relief. For the first time in my adult life, I feel completely free. Saturday morning brought unprecedented peace, as I woke up without checking my phone for family crisis messages or feeling obligated to manage other people's emotions about my choices. The Pacific Ocean stretched endlessly beyond my terrace, while exotic birds provided natural symphony accompaniment to coffee and fresh tropical fruit prepared by Vista Pacifica's chef. Jake found me journaling about my transformative week while reviewing partnership documents Eduardo had provided for the agricultural technology startup that promised meaningful work aligned with environmental conservation and international adventure. No family drama today, he asked with knowing smile. Complete silence, I replied with satisfaction. Either they're plotting strategy for regaining control, or they're finally accepting that their manipulation tactics don't work on someone who's discovered independence and self-respect. The final 2 days of my Costa Rica adventure focused on solidifying business relationships and exploring potential relocation logistics rather than managing family conflict or seeking approval for my choices. Eduardo arranged meetings with local entrepreneurs, environmental scientists, and government officials who supported sustainable technology development that could benefit both Costa Rican communities and international markets. Sunday's activities included visiting organic coffee plantations, where technology applications could optimize crop yields while maintaining environmental sustainability, touring sustainable architecture projects that demonstrated how modern comfort could coexist with ecological responsibility, and meeting American expatriates who'd successfully relocated to pursue meaningful work in paradise settings. The residency process for entrepreneurs is straightforward, explained David Wilson, a Portland architect who'd moved to Costa Rica 5 years ago to develop ecotourism projects. The government actively encourages foreign investment in sustainable businesses that employ local workers and contribute to environmental conservation. Your technology background combined with agricultural applications would qualify for expedited approval. The practical considerations of international relocation seemed remarkably manageable when compared to emotional challenges I'd overcome during my family confrontation. Costa Rica offered universal healthcare, lower cost of living, vibrant expatriate communities, and lifestyle emphasis on work-life balance that contrasted sharply with Portland's competitive corporate culture. Monday morning brought my return flight to Portland with mixed emotions about leaving paradise, while feeling excited about implementing changes that would transform my life permanently. The Agricultural Technology Corporation had scheduled meetings for Tuesday to discuss international expansion opportunities that aligned perfectly with my Costa Rica partnership plans. The flight provided reflection time about my week's transformation from excluded family member to confident entrepreneur, with international opportunities and authentic friendships. Ashley's screenshot evidence had revealed financial theft that required legal resolution, but more importantly, it had freed me from guilt about not meeting family expectations that were designed to maintain hierarchy rather than support individual growth. Portland International Airport felt cold and gray after Costa Rica's tropical warmth, but my perspective had shifted dramatically during 7 days of adventure, meaningful work opportunities, and genuine acceptance from people who valued my contributions rather than criticizing my limitations. Jake's friendship and Maria's intellectual connection provided relationship models based on mutual respect and shared interests. Tuesday's meetings with agricultural technology executives exceeded every expectation as they offered a senior developer position with 40% salary increase, international travel responsibilities, and project management authority for Central American agricultural initiatives. The company had been seeking developers with exactly my background and international experience for expansion into sustainable agriculture markets. Your Costa Rica research and partnership connections demonstrate exactly the kind of initiative and cultural competence we need for our international division, explained Jennifer Martinez, the company's international development director. We're prepared to offer you a position that includes 6 months annually working on-site in Central America, equity participation in successful projects, and leadership responsibilities for our sustainability initiatives. The job offer provided financial security for pursuing Costa Rica relocation, while maintaining professional connections and career advancement opportunities that utilized my technical skills for meaningful environmental impact. The salary increase would easily cover travel costs, international housing, and lifestyle improvements I'd never considered possible within my previous budget constraints. Wednesday brought legal consultation about the inheritance situation that confirmed my suspicions about Marcus's fiduciary breaches and provided clear steps for recovering stolen funds. The estate attorney estimated my inheritance portion at approximately $35,000 plus accumulated interest and damages from years of unauthorized use. Your brother's estate management clearly violates fiduciary responsibilities, explained attorney Rebecca Chen during our consultation. The evidence your niece provided demonstrates deliberate exclusion from inheritance benefits while using your funds for family activities, which constitutes conversion and breach of trust that could result in criminal charges. The legal process would take several months, but promised complete financial recovery plus damages that would provide additional funding for Costa Rica relocation and business investment. More importantly, the lawsuit would establish clear boundaries about acceptable behavior and consequences for future manipulation attempts. Ashley maintained private communication expressing pride in my independence and curiosity about Costa Rica opportunities for young people interested in environmental conservation and technology. Her support provided positive family connection without toxic dynamics that characterized my relationships with adult family members. Uncle Kent. I've been researching Costa Rica for a school project and it looks amazing, she texted. Maybe I can visit you there someday and learn about environmental science and technology applications. My parents would probably freak out, but I think you're brave for following your dreams instead of just doing what everyone expects. Thursday brought responses from my family to my legal demands for inheritance accounting and equal distribution. Marcus hired an attorney who attempted to negotiate reduced settlement amounts, but my legal representation advised against accepting anything less than complete financial recovery, plus damages, for unauthorized use. Sarah and Emma sent apologetic messages expressing willingness to rebuild relationships if we can move past financial disagreements and focus on family healing. Their offers included invitations to future family gatherings and promises of better inclusion in planning processes. My response was clear and non-negotiable. Complete inheritance, restitution, acknowledgement of wrongdoing, and equal treatment in all family financial matters. or permanent independence from relationships based on hierarchy and conditional acceptance. Friday brought Eduardo's formal partnership agreement that included equity stakes in agricultural technology ventures, relocation assistance for Costa Rica residency, and collaboration opportunities with environmental scientists throughout Central America. The business proposal aligned perfectly with my values, while providing financial growth potential that exceeded traditional employment opportunities. Maria confirmed her plans to visit Portland in February for collaborative research opportunities, while exploring romantic relationship possibilities that had developed naturally during our Costa Rica adventures. Her intellectual curiosity and environmental passion provided emotional connection I'd never experienced with previous relationships based on geographical convenience, rather than genuine compatibility. The weekend concluded my 2 weeks of transformation as I signed partnership agreements, submitted resignation notice to my current employer, effective March 1st, and began practical preparations for international relocation that would fulfill dreams I'd never dared pursue while seeking family approval. My apartment lease expired in April, perfectly timing my Costa Rica move with minimal financial penalties. The accumulated savings that had once represented security within limited Portland lifestyle now provided freedom for international adventure and meaningful work that combined technology expertise with environmental impact. March 15th found me boarding a one-way flight to San Jose with adventure gear partnership contracts and Costa Rica residency documentation that marked permanent transition from excluded family member to international entrepreneur pursuing authentic happiness and meaningful relationships. Vista Pacifica welcomed me back like a homecoming as Jake, Maria, and Eduardo celebrated my successful transformation from solo vacation traveler to permanent Costa Rican resident with business partnerships that promised both financial success and environmental impact. 6 months later, the agricultural technology startup had secured major contracts with farming cooperatives throughout Central America, while my software solutions increased crop yields by an average of 28% while reducing water consumption and pesticide dependency. Professional recognition included feature articles in agricultural technology publications and speaking invitations at international conferences. Maria and I established a shared home in the mountains overlooking Manuel Antonio National Park, while collaborating on environmental technology projects that combined her scientific research with my software development expertise. Our relationship developed based on mutual respect, intellectual stimulation, and shared values rather than geographical proximity or social convenience. The inheritance lawsuit concluded with complete financial victory, as Marcus was ordered to pay $38,000 in principal plus accumulated interest and legal fees. More importantly, the legal resolution established permanent boundaries about acceptable family behavior, while providing financial foundation for continued Costa Rica investments. Ashley graduated high school with exceptional environmental science grades and expressed interest in Costa Rica university programs that would allow her to study sustainable agriculture and conservation technology. Her parents' resistance to international education gradually softened as they recognized her academic excellence and clear career focus. My family's annual Christmas plans now included tentative invitations that acknowledged my independence and success, while attempting to rebuild relationships based on mutual respect rather than hierarchy and exclusion. Their attitudes shifted dramatically when confronted with evidence of my happiness, financial success, and meaningful work that exceeded their traditional definitions of achievement. 1 year after my solo Costa Rica vacation, I celebrated Christmas in paradise with Jake, Maria, Eduardo, and local families who welcomed me as permanent community member rather than temporary tourist. The contrast with previous holiday exclusions reminded me daily of the transformation possible when choosing authentic happiness over conditional approval. The agricultural technology business expanded internationally as demand for sustainable farming solutions grew throughout Latin America, providing opportunities for additional travel, cultural immersion, and environmental impact that aligned perfectly with personal values and professional expertise. Ashley visited during her spring break, spending 2 weeks learning about environmental conservation, while observing business operations that demonstrated how technology could support rather than exploit natural resources. Her enthusiasm for sustainability and international experience influenced her decision to study environmental engineering, with focus on agricultural applications. My parents eventually acknowledged their favoritism patterns and estate management failures while expressing pride in my independence and international success. Rebuilding relationships required years of consistent boundaries and gradual trust development. But the foundation now emphasized mutual respect rather than conditional acceptance. Marcus faced professional consequences for his estate management practices, while being required to implement transparent financial procedures for future family matters. His authority within family hierarchy diminished significantly, as other siblings demanded equal treatment and accountability for financial decisions affecting inherited assets. Sarah and Emma developed increased respect for my choices while questioning their own priorities about material success versus personal fulfillment. Their marriages remained stable, but both expressed curiosity about alternative lifestyle choices that emphasized adventure and meaningful work over social status and material accumulation. The Costa Rica adventure that began as response to family exclusion evolved into life transformation that exceeded every dream I'd never dared pursue during decades of seeking approval from relatives who valued hierarchy over happiness and control over genuine connection. Today, I wake up every morning in paradise grateful for the family rejection that forced me to discover independence, authentic relationships, and meaningful work that creates positive environmental impact while providing financial security and personal fulfillment. The greatest lesson from my transformation involves recognizing that true family connections are built on inclusion, respect, and genuine care rather than convenience, financial contribution, or social status. Sometimes stepping away from toxic dynamics allows personal growth that ultimately transforms all relationships for the better, creating opportunities for authentic connections with people who value you for who you are rather than what you can provide or how you fit their expectations. Independence and self-advocacy open doors to adventures, opportunities, and relationships that exceeded every limitation imposed by family members who confused control with love and conditional acceptance with genuine care. The courage to choose personal happiness over group approval created space for meaningful work, romantic connection, and friendships based on mutual respect rather than hierarchy and obligation. Have you ever had to choose between family expectations and personal happiness? I'd love to hear about your experiences with standing up for yourself and pursuing dreams that others didn't understand or support. Please share your stories in the comments below. And if this video resonated with you, hit the like button to help other people who might need encouragement to prioritize their own well-being and authentic dreams. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories about choosing independence over approval and building authentic relationships based on mutual respect rather than obligation. Share this video with anyone who's struggled with family dynamics that prioritize control over genuine care and support. Thank you for joining me on this journey from exclusion to independence, and I hope my story inspires you to pursue your own authentic path toward happiness and fulfillment, regardless of other people's expectations or limitations. Remember that your dreams are valid, your happiness matters, and you deserve relationships that celebrate your growth rather than limiting your potential. Until next time, may you find the courage to choose paradise over approval and authentic connection over conditional acceptance. Pura vida.